Network. IBGR is our call sign as a radio station, but we are much more than a radio station. We are a global network. I'm your host, Jan Robberts, the Inspirational Entrepreneur. And this is episode 2 of season 4. Your story, your voice, your time. Confident entrepreneurs help their people find their voice in the people lane, people skills for success. Now you can go to the website ibgr.network and download the show notes from there. Stories and entrepreneurs, do they go together? I've already talked into the importance of stories and already some areas of what was important and why it is important to an entrepreneur as well. And I'm going to start putting this together now. And in the next session, I'm also going to give you six pointers on developing your story. And now, as a speaker trainer and a JR Speakers Club, in JR Speakers Club, I started that because I really wanted to get people to craft and create their story in such a way that it would impact other people in a more positive way. And as an entrepreneur as well, you have a story so far. You have lived so far, and you need to write down that story from where you started off to your journey, where and how and why you decided to become an entrepreneur rather than stay in the world of employment. Or maybe you never got to the world of employment, maybe you're still young, and why you want to become an entrepreneur. But there must be something inside of you that sparked you to become an entrepreneur. Now that story is very important. It might not be important to everybody, but it's your story. So to create that story, and you don't have to tell them every day. I will give you a little overview of my story very shortly in this session now. And you don't have to talk about every day, I was born, and no, but to be succinct, I've already put some parts of stories of famous entrepreneurs in here, and I've got a few more, but I just wanted to do that so it clicks, because when you hear the name and you hear that part of the story, it makes you think about their story, and it makes you connect and you know about it. And that's whether you're starting out or not, it is great, not only for connecting with people at a human level, but also I'll talk to you a little bit more about investors afterwards as well, possibly in this session. But as I mentioned before the break, humans have been telling stories since the beginning of time. And one of the most important stories you will ever tell is your entrepreneurial story. Your ability to do this well will have a direct impact on your success. Now that's what I'm talking about. Your story. There is a book called The Best Story Ever Told. And it's by John Maxwell. It's a genius book. I wish I thought about it, because when you open it, it's empty, completely empty. A thick book, and the idea is that you start writing your story. So wherever you are right now, start thinking back. If you haven't done it so far, start thinking back about important areas, both successes and failures, both trials and tribulations and hardships and everything what got you eventually say, I need to become an entrepreneur. Whether it was because you wanted to make a difference in this world. And I'm going to talk about one story very shortly where a guy wanted to make a difference in the world, to give you an idea. But was it just because you were fed up being told by a boss when to go to work, when you can take a holiday, what car you could drive and all that, because a boss really governs all you do because of the amount of money he pays you and the amount of hours that you have to be there. So it could be anything, but whatever it is, people will recognize it and start connecting with you at that level. I hope that makes sense. But I'll say this again, your ability to do this well will have a direct impact on your success. And you might be surprised at that, because you're thinking about building your business, your finances, your branding, all this other kind of stuff, and it's all important. Your clients, your customers, your organization, you're working on the business. All these kind of things are important, but never forget the human aspect of your business, because even though we're getting more automated by the day, the human touch will become more and more important by the day. Your social interactions with your clients, your social interactions with anybody around you become more important, especially at this time. If you haven't found out yet, people need a human touch more than ever before. But when we say story, we're talking about much more than the progression of events that led to an outcome. Your entrepreneurial story isn't just a timeline, it's a culmination of key moments, lessons learned, pivots, motivations, frustrations and successes. I briefly mentioned that already, but I hope you get the idea. So it is not just a timeline, I was born and then I did this and I went to school and I started walking in between as well. That was a success story, of course. But so many more things. It's a culmination of key moments, lessons learned, pivots, motivation, frustration and successes. Now here, Tom's is the keystone example of turning a spark into an entrepreneurial journey and into a solid story that sold. Blake Mykoski from Tom's traveled the world, discovered the devastating reality of children in small villages and had an idea to help. Once executed, his idea not only provided children around the world with much needed footwear, but rallied stakeholders around the cause and made Tom's a household name. Now get that. I mean, that was he was there for a cause. He found something that really touched him to the deepest of his soul and his heart, and he wanted to do something about it. That was his story. But you get the picture again, I mean, that was the basis of a story, but it rallied stakeholders around the cause and made Tom's a household name. That's also very important to remember, because everybody has an entrepreneurial story and every successful entrepreneur must be a storyteller. Now here is another famous one, Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson. And first of all, I want to really let you know that I'm very sad and my condolences to Sir Richard Branson for his mother sadly passing away this last week. And, it's very sad. Even though she has a ripe old age, it's always sad to see this. So my condolences to Sir Richard Branson. But Sir Richard Branson started his first venture, which would eventually become Virgin Records, out of a church at a young age. He didn't do well in school and had no formal higher education or business training before becoming a successful entrepreneur. He simply started out selling records that he advertised in a small magazine and grew his business from there. Now, of course, he had failures, and he still has had. I mean, he had to eventually sell the record business to save his airline company, and he's had failures, and he'll tell you himself. It's a famous. I mean, Screw It, Let's Do It, I think, is one of his books. But I mean, it's I've read that, and it's phenomenal what he went through. So, yes, he has a success story, and in successes, you will never become successful without failures. Failing forward is one of the things in leadership. It's one of the things in life. If you don't fail forward, if you fail and you stay there, most people won't get up twice when they fail once. They sit down, complain about for the rest of their life. No, you need to get up. Persistence, that's something I'm going to talk into in a later session as well. It's so important. I'm going through it in the Think and Grow Rich process at the moment with Napoleon Hill, with a friend of mine, and persistence is so important. But here is something. When people invest in your company, either their time or money, they are investing at least partly in your story. See, companies aren't just snapshots in time, they are positioned with a narrative. See, how people perceive that narrative will influence how they will perceive your progress and your potential. Now, even a very early stage company can win customers if their narrative, their story, illustrates a compelling future that they want to participate in. See, that is talking into the vision and the mission through your story. So that shows that even early on, people are willing to invest, people are willing to buy from you because they believe in you, but also for your employees. You need to give them a voice, but if they give you buy-in because they believe in you before they believe in your product or your service or your courses, but they will believe in you because of your story. They believe in you because of your passion. They believe in you because of who you are and who you are becoming in that journey. They don't just believe in you because you've got a product. But when they believe in you, the rest is a lot easier. And when employees believe in you and they give you buy-in because you give them a voice, you share with them that passion and that vision you've got for your business, you will so much easier get buy-in from them, and people will go the extra way. It's in leadership as well. When people buy into you and people connect with you, when you build relationships with your people, I talk about that in the leadership lane. Building relationships is everything, and by telling your story you connect on the human level again. See, in recruitment, your story will sell your employees on your venture's purpose and increase the level of dedication on both sides of the employer-employee relationship. Investors buy into the longevity of your narrative, and this might surprise you, their belief in you to create a successful future based on where you've been. I'm going to repeat that. They buy into your longevity of your narrative and their belief in you to create a successful future based on where you've been. So that's on your story so far. So you better have that story, that compelling story ready. I hope that makes even more sense now if you're looking for investors. But for your customers, entrepreneurial stories have increasing importance. As a new generations enter the workforce, new values are driving purchase decisions. For example, here you go. 70% of millennials will spend more on brands that support causes they care about. How important is your story now? So, and we see similar change in business-to-business purchases, where 81% of non-C-suite employees influence purchase decisions. Is your story important? You better Adam and Eve it. Once you're able to convincingly deliver a compelling story, you'll soon realize that entrepreneurial storytelling is able to persuade stakeholders in a way that growth charts never will. So write your story. Write your own story. Your entrepreneurial story is key to unlocking the support of your customers while fueling your own internal purpose and passion. See, starting a company is undeniably hard, and your personal story is a good way to remember why you began. Your story will be the one thing that you return to over the years to guide you and focus your efforts in the right direction, and also guide your employees. In this sense, entrepreneurial stories provide a framework to help you understand where you've been, where you're going, and most importantly, why you're on the journey in the first place. You can use your story, your personal quest, to help you make decisions and discern future direction. Learning to tell good stories isn't as complicated or scary as it may sound, and I'll talk into that in the next session. So don't go away, because you need to pay close attention to the stories all around you, how they draw you in and convince you to stay for more. What actions and behaviors do they motivate? Now, join us at ibgi.network and Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and I will see you in a few short minutes. Don't go away.